Well, today is a banner day. Yes, it is. It is the 30th of July, Sunday, 2017, and we are about to do our very first repair action in the new shop. Everything we've done up until now, I told you in the last video, all we did was disassemble. We tore something apart. We fixed nothing. So this will be with our brand new shop. After all the time it took to build it and everything, we're finally going to do an actual repair. And it'll be, of course, a couple of jukebox pieces. Now, this thing right here is a title strip holder. I got it upside down. And I'll show you what the other side looks like. Like so. These are some of the songs that the previous owner had in there. Pretty good music, actually. The Twist, That'll Be the Day, with Buddy Holly, and let me see, American Pie, Only 16, that's a good one. Let me see what else we got here. We got Lion Sleeps Tonight. She has some pretty good records in there. She kept the records because she wanted to buy a new jukebox. Cindy, I'm talking about. When she moved to Florida, she said she was going to get another jukebox. But anyway, the problem we have here is this strip holder, this metal piece that holds it in the jukebox is broken off. So what I'm going to do is not a problem, it's a piece of cake. I'm going to go ahead and rough this side. Get a focus here now. We're going to go ahead and rough this side up with sandpaper so we get a good, coarse surface. And then we're going to clean this area here with alcohol real good, and then go ahead and sand it down with this also. We're going to kind of rough it up a little bit. I'm not going to sand through it. I'm just going to kind of rough it up. This is some pretty coarse paper. This is a type of emery paper, or it's 80 grit. Yeah, 80 grit emery cloth of some kind. And once we get that done, then we're going to go ahead and whip up some JB Quick and go ahead and glue this thing into that slot. And it'll all be ready to go in 5 minutes. But of course we're not going to use it for 5 minutes, but that's how long it takes for it to harden. So let me go ahead and do that. For some reason this poor old camera doesn't like to focus on anything that's white. It has a tendency to get blurry. Now if I come out here and I come over here, it stays nice and clear. But if I come back over here, it goes into almost a blurry mode all the time. Might be the reflection of the light on the top. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I've got a good one of these here, and the broken one here, and I got them side by side because I want to make sure I have the right position, not only on the metal bracket but on the plastic too, because they're not the same on both ends, as you can see. This one has a flared out end, this one has a flat end. So right now we do have it right, and I have gone ahead and sanded the back side of that thing, and I've also sanded along the top ridge here. I didn't have to sand the whole, I didn't have to sand down in here. I only had to sand along the top ridge. We'll put a, plenty of glue along that top ridge and around these plastic, I don't know what the studs, I guess is what you call mounting studs. We'll put plenty there and get this thing glued up and shoved off to the side because I'm tired of looking at the blurriness myself. Let me get that done. Okay, that's that. We'll go ahead and shove these over to the side and let it dry. And that'll sit there till tomorrow. It'll dry shortly. But the next thing we're going to do is straighten out these bent pieces of metal right here. See how that thing was mangled, remember? We're going to use these old duckbill pliers to do it. No teeth in the center. Just basically going to, grab it, slide it up underneath there, and just gently bend it up, Try to get it back as much as I can to the shape of it next to it. That took a heck of a hit. And we also have a bend over here. You'll recall it kept it from coming out of the slot. I don't know if you can see that very well right there. It's not straight like it should be. You're going to use the duckbill pliers on that too. After a couple of squeezes on that metal, this top lip right here, it turned out pretty straight. The problem is the bend that's down inside there. Let me show you on the outside. That bend on the outside right there really cause this thing to be bent out of shape. See, it won't even bend down to the. It's supposed to be flat where it lays down on there. Well, what do we do about that? Well, you gotta be careful. This is stainless steel. I might be able to take a flat tip screwdriver or lay it down sort of in there, and then tap on it with a hammer, which would kind of bang out that rise right there. And then, or I could just take, you know, the duckbill and put it in there like that and press down. Try to get that bump out of there. Try to get that crease, that indentation back out. We'll give both of those a try and see what happens. I'll let you know which one worked the best, if either one did. Well, that's the best she's going to get. The edge is straight, and I got it as flat as I could on the top. All we got is that one little dent on the side, very difficult to get to. We're going to have to live with it, but it's pretty close to being flat now, just a little ways up. But we'll be able to deal with that when it comes time to put it in along the edge of that cabinet, the top edge. A lot better than it did look. Anyway, that's repair number 2. Now let's see what we can do with this thing here. This ought to be loads of fun. Again, you know, with the old duckbill pliers. Start with that. Well, I got most of it bent out with the duckbill pliers. Now I'm going to use this flat tip punch and kind of tap it on the top with a hammer and kind of flatten down that channel on maybe about an inch, I guess. Just work my way back and forth along the flat part of that channel. Tap, tap, tap. A whole lot of pressure. I mean, a whole lot of banging is not necessary. And there's the final fix on that. The best I could do. It's a lot flatter on top. You can see where the little dent marks and everything are going to remain on it. Nothing I can do there, but at least it's flat now. It's not curled all the way under and bent down, and it seems to be pretty darn good. Alright, the second fix, well, actually the third fix on our old brand new bench, our old brand new bench in the new workshop, and you got to see it here. Let's turn around and take a look at the wood on the cabinet. This is the rear of the cabinet. This is where the door goes, and there's the speakers out there. Over on the left hand side now, except for this top layer that needs to be glued down, this is really nice over here. This is good and solid, okay? But then we come across here, well, there's some stuff down here that needs to be glued up also. I'm going to clamp that up with some glue, no problem. Very easy repair. But then we come over to this side, and this is what we got here. Oh boy. Let me get a little zoom in here. We've got loose wood. This has been repaired by someone in the past. You can see the top layer of the plywood has come loose right here. And you can see all the little nails they put in there just to put it back down in. The problem is it's now, there's even nails back here. But this is loose. It's going to have to all be glued down and clamped, and you can see that right here the wood has come out from underneath the top. And this is the door hinge. Down here you see one door hinge on the bottom. That's where the not much light down there. There we go. The pin of the door hinge fits there in the bottom, and it fits on a plate up underneath here on the top. See if I can get you to see that. Okay, now this plate is also loose, and someone has there we go, a little better. Now the plate is also loose, and someone in the past, apparently this door has apparently been a problem for quite a while. Someone in the past put a screw up through the plate and ran it all the way through the top of the wood here and just left it. That's pretty dangerous right there. I wouldn't want to catch my arm on that thing while I'm messing around. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that screw and get it out of there. Well, rather than take, you know, that one screw out, this is the one that was sticking up all the way through, that real sharp one. That one's going in the trash. Rather than just take that one out, I decided to go ahead and take, the remaining two. And of course, this plate, this is your hinge plate. Your hinge goes through the large hole. And this block of wood came down with it. And as you can see, it was broken at some point in the past. Let's take a look underneath there and see what it looks like where it was screwed together, not glued, not repaired. Take a look at that. Let me zoom in here. Don't you just love repair work like that? Nothing was done, just screws were put in. Well, we're going to do that right. I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to use these types of screws. No wood screws are going to hold that on. We're going to go with some kind of bolt nut and a lock washer to hold this thing on after we repair the wood. This never was. This was a weak point in that door. The door was too heavy with those two chassis on there. And these little old wood screws, you know, through a little block of wood like this, which is nothing but plywood, it couldn't hold it. After a while, it had to break. So we're going to make that much stronger. Meanwhile, back at the farm, work continues on this. I have more nails to pull out. Alright, we've got the top layer of wood cut out. So, you know, we can't work in the dark. We need to remove that. All the pieces are here. I'll glue as many as I can back in after we get all this shored up and glued up. Had to find out what was under there. There was a bunch of broken glass under there from the top. It had been obviously smashed at some point. So you know that this thing was in a bar. I think that pretty much clinches it. Right now I'm going to vacuum this out with the vacuum cleaner, and then we'll start plucking these pieces out and see what we find. Alright, let's start taking some of these pieces out. And one, there's two, there's some more stuff. Oh, there's another one. Man, oh man, oh man. This thing is really beat up in here. Let's see if this piece of plastic I cut will slip up underneath there enough to keep the glue from dripping down. I don't want to see this thing here has got to be pushed in after all the pieces are cemented in, and then we can put in some screws or something and clamp it on down, put some screws in and let it dry. It's going to need added reinforcement because of the weakness of the wood. What I'd like to do is take this piece completely out, but you know, cut a new one, but that's just impractical. I don't have the necessary tools to do it. Anyway, why don't we just go ahead and call it quits right now, and you'll know over the next couple of days this is what I'm going to be working on. Basically nothing but filler wood. Filler wood, and I've got the Gorilla Glue, I've got the wood glue, I've got a bag full of clamps, I've got some larger clamps here. Everything I can need is here. And we'll go ahead and get this done and then see if we can't push it together with a clamp all the way from the rear all the way to the front. That's what these long babies here are for. Anyway, until next time, this is John. Well, it's getting late at night, but before heading off to the house to take a shower and get ready for the rack, have a cup of coffee, and maybe upload this video to the computer out of the camera and all that jazz, I thought I'd show you what I did. And I did it now, boy. I took off this, which is this thing right here that runs from top to bottom, and I ripped out this part that's giving us all this heartburn. I ripped it right out of there. I didn't care. I'm in a butchering mood, which is this part right here. What do we do now? I don't know. I think I'll just have a cup of coffee, get this on the computer, and I'll worry about it tomorrow.
Nobody, I mean nobody, puts ketchup on a hot dog.